I gotta get rid of this headphone. That's what I'm gonna do. Oh. Can we hear me? Am I talking to people? Am I talking to myself? If I'm talking to myself, I'm gonna allow some time for reflection. Ladies and gentlemen, from the confines of my dingy and opaque office, we're live and we're bad. Danny Boyd's in the chat. Howdy, brother. Let's go live chat, not top chat. How's Uncle Corn Pop doing? What's going down? Buff Del Campo's in the chat. Turbo Del Campo. How's it going, brother? I saw you guys getting a slant together. I need to catch up on the videos though. Well, it's just gonna bombard me. Make sure it's actually set. But yeah, how's everybody's week treating them? What's going down? Did anything cool happen? At Zero saying, dude, no sparkle? No bubbles in this water. Bad 66 is in the chat saying, okay, good, you're live. I'm live. I'm alive. I'm live. Dan's doing body work on the Mustang, passenger side close to done. I'm doing Lord's work, man. I wouldn't do any body work. Miss Olive Drab in the chat. Howdy, Olive. How are you? At Zero saying that don't hardly sound. I got both, technically, at Zero. I got both. I drank the bubble water already. So now I'm downgraded to this normal water. Bad 66 is saying I got the vent glass assembly for the 57 Plymouth. Super excited, but also worried about the passenger side. Chris Cadden saying, shit, I already thought it was a short. No such luck. You got to deal with me for the long term. Exactly, at Zero. Peasant water. Doesn't even have carbonation. It's not even from any kind of Alps. Olive saying, the back is complaining. I was doing metal beating on some things they could have not damaged in shipping. That would have been nice. I hate repairing people's screw-ups. I really do. Danny Boyd saying, you need a white t-shirt with a pack of cigarettes rolled up in his sleeve. I used to roll my cigarettes in my sleeve, Dan. And people used to give me all kinds of grief for it, like I was trying to be cute or something, but it's the only way not to crush them while you're working. The problem is if you're really working, then you start to sweat and your cigarettes get soaked. But Tabo Garage is in the chat. Howdy, Tabo. Chris Cadman saying garden hose water rocks. I don't know what it is. I feel like you could drink a gallon of garden hose water and still not be hydrated. Danny Boyd saying grease is the word. Oh, man. Yeah, it's kind of, I had to go kind of conservative with it today. Normally it's up a little bit higher. Might as well just put my hair in a beehive at this point. Bad 66 is saying that the passenger side is a little bit questionable. Hopefully it's not broke. The frame, I'm going to fit the 57 Plymouth Firewall to the 57 Bel Air soon. I'll make videos on it. Stoic Steel saying dehydrated water. How's it going, brother? Oh, man. What the hell? I got an ant on me. Death. Die. Sorry. Buff Del Campo. No, I didn't see your chat there, brother. It's on live chat. Did it not come through? I saw you saying hello, and that was the last one I see on here. How's Buff doing? Turbo Del Campo. Landon Custom Classics. Cousin Mike's in the chat. Howdy, Cousin Mike. Bad 66 is saying, Ari, do you know about Mr. Heavy Chevy? You know, I watched some of his videos probably a few years back, but I'm not super familiar with the channel. I don't, you know, I barely watch that much YouTube anymore. I got, you know, it's hard for me to keep up with, you know, the people I know and just random subscriptions, you know, so it's like, Tabo Garage is saying, "Hey Ari, what was the chat about the cat and the Tony?" Tabo, I got this 10-year-old cat, and if you want him, he is so yours. Like that, he's just sitting there right now, sucking up air. It's a joke, Tabo. I'm always trying to pawn my cat off on people. I'm going to do a channel giveaway of my cat, just so Unfinished Project wins and gets the cat. Mopar Man 1978's in the chat. Mexican Spec is in the chat. Bad 66 is saying, I have a question for Cold War Motors, but I have no way to get in contact with them. You know, I mean, they reply to a lot of comments. I know they have a Patreon too. So, I mean, if you're willing to throw them a couple bucks a month, I think you'll get extra content or some kind of membership, something. And then you can send them private messages through that. Yes, Olive says, I was trying to get, yes, Olive's also getting the cat. Tabo, do you want a cat? He might like Australia. Cat, you hear that? You're bound for South Australia. Damn cat. Oh, saying I'd sure love that kitty, but he'd probably be pissed off by the trip here. He's just pissed off in general. He's my cat. So he's had a pretty horrible life. Eric Kofed's in the chat. Howdy, Eric. How's it going, man? You out on the road, brother? Tavo Garage is saying, Mexican Spec, we don't even have a gas station. Nearest is nearly 20 miles away. So you're really out there, Tavo. That's awesome. You just hear didgeridoo when you open the door or what? Danny Boyd saying, Green Grass by Gary Lewis and the Playboys. Killer song. I'll write it down, Dan. Switch the angle on you guys here. Stoke Steel said, that's a funny looking kangaroo. Eric Kofed's out hauling hay, just local jobs this evening. That's cool, man. As long as you're hauling something, man. What sucks is when you're putting down the miles and not getting paid, right? Unfinished projects in the chat. Dead Horse Car Club, he says. Dead Horse Cars never sell out. The Unfinished, I'm going to do a channel giveaway, and since you win everything, I'm going to make sure you win this cat. Just sitting there, doing nothing. Hey, Dave Lewis is in the chat. Howdy, Dave. Brian M. Life is in the chat. Howdy, Brian. Yeah, Unfinished is going to get the cat. Either Unfinished or Hubie. But I've already pawned off the Power Glide on Hubie. And I gave him a piano. And so far, he's got the piano, the Power Glide, the cat, the broken 3-speed. There was something else really heavy. Come on. It'll come to mind. Unfinished project saying he's doing more than he's a good cat. Olive saying the piano is great if you happen to want a piano. Yeah, no, he doesn't. No one wants the piano. Which kind of sucks. It's like 100-something years old. It's like a 120-year-old piano. A Stultz and Bauer made in New York. It's an old harp style upright. Technically an upright grand. And I don't really play piano. It's not quite fancy enough for that. Stoic Steel saying it's hay season around here. If I sneeze anymore, I might die. I'm unenlightened, Stoic Steel. There's not much like that around here. It used to be slightly agricultural, but down here was just either orange groves or strawberry fields. Not forever. At Zero saying, I need enough cats to pull a smart car. They may not like it, but if you get a squirt bottle, they'll pull that car. Brian M saying, oh, Danny Boyd saying, homegrown peppers and tomato on chili nachos tonight. Nice, man. I still got those Apache peppers. I wonder why I bought those. But they're pretty dang delicious. Unfinished says, I'll take it. I wish, man. It's a beautiful piece. And it's like, I don't want to take it to the dump. I don't really have the means to keep it because it's in the way of where my tools are going to go in the storage unit. And it's a cumbersome thing. I've moved it a couple times, one time by myself with a ramp, and it was not an easy task. You know what I mean? I think it took a part of my soul. Brian M saying, Brother Ari, my neighbor finally got the classic motorcycles. I will send you the pics later. Badass, man. Check that out. Buff Del Campo saying, we're going up to the shop to work on the Valiant. Nice, man. You guys got some cool stuff going on over there. I know you guys finished up the Slant 6. I don't know if you finished it up, but you were wrapping up the Slant 6 build. That was the last couple videos that I saw, but I only skipped over them. I didn't really get to watch them. Oh, no, I better close that window if they're going to be doing the music thing. Oh, man. They're going to copyright me again. Again. All because we all love Whitney Houston so much. Hey, Unfinished, that kind of sounds like your kind of music. That Bollywood kind of. Oh, man. It's the last thing in the world we need. A bunch of Bollywood music. Oh, sorry. All right, let's see what we got. What did I miss? How much have I missed? Besides that chromosome. Pops is calling me. Pops is calling me now. He can probably get a couple words out without slurring them. Okay, unfinished project says awesome, Dan. Unfinished saying, just got home from work eating a bowl of Fruity Pebbles. Nice, man. It's a solid one. I kind of skipped lunch, so I'm going to get myself, I figured I haven't had fast food for a little while, so I'll go get myself some Del Taco. Chris Cadman saying had a able brother. Okay. Upright piano, 1863, could not give it away. Yeah, I mean, I had a smaller Baldwin piano as well that I was able to give away. Some people actually sent somebody to come pick it up, which I was happy about. I don't assume they were going to sell it. If they did, they made some money. Good for them. They did me a favor just the same, so. Chris Cadman saying, Ari sat on his nuts. Chris, I don't have the problem of sitting on them so much as peeing on them. Sorry, guys, that was gross. Mexican Spec saying, the front end on 59 Dodge fits right on a Plymouth and looks right. It's odd to see a Plymouth dash with the name Dodge on it. Brian M saying, avoid the tortas at Del Taco. Oh, you didn't have to tell me, Brian. I would never get a torta from Del. Hubie's Garage is in the chat. Howdy, Hubie. Hubie, we were just talking about your new cat and your new piano and the Power Glide and all the wonderful things that be gifted you. Olive saying, Bad 66 seems to need Christine parts. Yeah, that's his thing. He's trying to make it Christine. Mopar Man saying, I miss Taco John's. It's like Taco Bell, but better. Yeah, I mean, Del Taco is kind of crap food. I mean, it really is, but, I just get kind of like childish cravings for stuff like that. The food nerds in the chat. Howdy, Ma. Mom, you didn't like my idea for the cicada biryani? Yeah, they're getting all Bollywood over there. There's got some like, I mean, I saw a lot of head coverings going into that wedding, but I didn't know if it was going to be like that. This isn't good. This isn't good at all. Olive saying, Bad 66, I'd try to help if I had any connections here. Mopars are apparently not the thing. I see more AMC on show nowadays. The Mopar thing is kind of tough to get into. I mean, even nowadays, like the A bodies are still pretty cheap, but parts for them and any performance parts for them are they run you. So it's like it's one of those things. And then small trim pieces and everything else are kind of niche, so it's not the easiest thing to buy into. What Mopar man said. All I'm saying, there's a friggin' Marlin on my street somewhere. That's pretty rad. I saw a Rambler on OfferUp that was, I think it was like $1,800 for a '69 Rambler, and it was a cool car. Tavo Garage is saying, I want full front sheet metal from a '71 Plymouth Valiant for my Aussie Ute. Tavo, I could probably find it. There's a Paris, California, Gay Paris, and they have tons and tons of old junked cars and car parts out there, tons of them. Bad 66 is saying, I have 6,000 so far, and I still don't have a '57 Plymouth body or frame as of yet. Hey, you're not doing too bad, man. I think about it, how much money people spent on their cars in those shops, and it's just, what I mean, I feel like we're all pretty justified in whatever we spend. Yubi's Garage is saying, that breakfast burrito wiped me out. I came home after visiting my dad in Fountain Valley. And took a 3-hour nap. I missed Uncle Tony's too. Hey, I love that place, man. It's a place called Ham and Scram in Westminster, California, all American city. Actually, they gave me a magnet, which is going straight on the truck. So, yeah, and Hubie and I went and got some burritos, and yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it, man. That was I feel bad hyping a place up, and then it's like, well, nah, it actually is that good, it's something. Mopar Man saying, you guys should check out a cool dude in his '57 Furies. One is Christine, and the other one is named Poison Ivy on Instagram at Darnell's tonight. Brian M. Hammond Scram right there on Westminster and Bolsa. Well, Bolsa Chica. Wait, no, more Westminster and Springdale. Yubi's Garage is saying, it's a sign of a good breakfast burrito. A big long nap after a perfect Sunday. It was a great day, man. It was a cool day. It was cool seeing you and everything. And yeah, I really like that place. They do their own ham, and they do pea soup, they do ham chowder, they do ham chili. And one thing I get a lot is just a good ham and cheese on sourdough. And they're unreal. Mom's saying Ari is annoyed by the Bollywood music, kinda. It's not. Well, I'm just I don't want to single out the Bollywood music because I'm very annoyed by the Whitney Houston Wham playlist that they always run too. And I like George Michael. At Zero saying, Hubies, there's a full day of rest inside every ham and scram. Bad 66 is saying, I purchased a firewall from a '57 Savoy two-door hardtop the other day. I mean, Bad 66 is probably in those stages right now, but eventually it's going to be it's going to a bunch of random pieces of metal will come together and make a cool project for sure. Chris Cadman saying the Merc Ford M100 truck is Mercury name kept jobs in the country. Left, right, I don't care. Mopar Man saying no goat is safe there tonight. No. I don't know what's going down. I mean, honestly, it's kind of it's kind of a good contrast, I guess. You know what I mean? So I might as well be appreciative of that. And they're having a good time. It's a wedding. Poor guy's selling his soul. So you can only be so happy for him, but still, I try to be positive about it. Bad 66, 63. 63 was at least for you talking about pickups? For the Chevy pickup, 63 was the cutoff. And 64 they went to the flat front windshield and then the more prismatic windows. What am I miss? Am I on live chat? Did I miss? Unfinished is Lincoln. You linked LB Bruins. Is he in the chat? We got Long Beach Bruins in the chat. Mexican spec saying for Cadillacs it was 64. Yeah, I mean that's a huge thing for me. I obviously 60 through 66 trucks, Chevy trucks are my favorite, but the 60 to 63 with that wraparound windshield it's just so cool to me. Hubie's Garage is saying the only better breakfast burrito is a chicken fried snake. Chicken fried snake. They probably serve it somewhere. A chicken fried steak smothered in white gravy from Yellow Basket in Santa Ana. I made the mistake of eating one while on duty one day. Man, you had to carry that with you the whole shift. They closed that Yellow Basket, Hubie. It's something different now, some kind of fusion burger place. But I think they still got a Yellow Basket in Wilmington. All I'm saying, some people take weddings for granted, don't approve of other people. Bad 66 got a trivia question. Who was the first to redesign the windshield wipers? Oh, redesign the windshield wipers to clear the windshield better. And who kept the old design the longest? I'm not sure on that one, Bad 66. All I'm saying, having been a wedding photographer a long time ago, I'd have kept mine damn simple. Yeah, pretty much. I don't know. I picture like kind of like I would have like a carny wedding, you know what I mean? Like there'd be festoon lights and like different games. Like it'd be a full-on carnival. Danny Boyd saying the chili I made. Let's just say that the beans have come home to roost. Mexican Spec saying I'm surprised nobody tried to correct me. Well, I'm not jumping on it. Stoic Steel saying great. Now chicken fried snake is a thing. Someone's gonna start serving it. These damn ants are going nuts. I don't know to leave something out. Cat, you should be hunting these ants. Cat. Spray bottle. I will spray. George, at zero, I still have your spray bottle. Oh, man. Mexican Spec saying people already serve rattlesnake. all of a sudden in the 80s, it was on the photographer to make everything continue to happen when the mother of the bride and possibly others inevitably melt down. Yeah, Hubie, it's well, I think it's technically Dyer and Maine. I don't know about Dyer and Maine. The one I saw was on Edinger and Grand. Tabo's saying all this food talk. It's almost lunchtime here. It's past dinner time here, but I'm still gonna go feed myself. Have no fear, folks. The Dougster is here. It's like I'll be on the road for a bit, but listening in. Rad, man. Yeah, they closed the Yellow Basket on Edinger and Grand. I don't know if there's another one on Maine and Dyer, but I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I think I might know what you're talking about. Hubie, I don't know if you've been to Cowgirls Cafe in Santa Ana though. They got the best chicken fried snake that I've had in a while. Got to go sometime. Chris Cabin saying, I will eat almost anything if it's cooked right. Yeah, you can make you can make anything taste good. My mom's about to make cicada. She's going to make biryani with cicadas because they're apparently edible. I still think it would be great. I said this idea to my mom a while back, but if you had like bought out like a 50s style drive-in diner, like Mel's Diner, and you kept the whole motif, everything, the roller skates, the checkered paper and all that, but you just served Indian food and you called it Johnny Biryani. Got Nathan's Mopar Garage is in the chat. How you doing, brother? How's it going, man? Dave Lewis is saying you have to try the Waffle House at 3 a.m. Waffle House is an amazing place. I mean, people. This live stream itself has been compared to Waffle House, and I don't know if it was meant in a derogatory way or not, but I invited it. You know what I mean? Those Waffle House hash browns are delicious. They make them with clarified butter. Sure, you might have to witness a brawl, but you know what I mean? If you're well armed and well prepared, it's a good place to eat. Unfinished Project saying the Fruity Pebbles didn't hit the spot, so I broke out the Strawberry Special K. Unfinished, have you ever tried the banana one? I don't often find it, but it's pretty great. Tabo Garage is saying, you will eat the bugs and you will be happy. You will eat the bugs in the name of the fatherland. Danny Boyd saying, don't worry, Mopar Man 78. It's had time to air out in here, but I feel like another one developing. I mean, I think my neighbors heard that fart. You're gonna bust the drywall, Dan. It's gonna crack at the seams. Ryan M saying O'Connell's in Fountain Valley has some really good chicken fried steak. Bushard and Garfield. I've never been there. Chris Cadman saying fresh from the armpits. Exactly. Like imagine like instead of a tray of fries, you just got like a scoop of some random Indian food, and it's like the dude roller skates it up to you. UB's Garage is saying when I work at 79s, the Edinger and Grand Yellow Basket was a big no-go, a big go-to place. The CFS burrito wasn't as good as the one on Dyer and Maine. Unfinished Project saying they said noisy, not edible. Those things are gnarly, man. They're big. Freaking, you know what I mean? Like I had one hit me in the head when I was in Oregon, and I had no idea what a cicada was. It's just this like menacing black bug. I was like, this thing just tried to eat my brain, you know? Charlie Rome was in the chat. Howdy, Charlie, saying, I once stood post for a local soccer tournament in Red Hook, Brooklyn. The locals sold dollar tacos from shopping carts. Years later, Anthony Bourdain had them on his show. I believe it, Charlie. He did that episode on his show where he actually went down to Oaxaca and he like visited the parents of a few of his cooks, and yeah, he really admired that street food stuff, man. It's the same thing down here, Charlie. You can go. I don't really go to amusement parks much or nothing, but the lady and I will go to some of the Halloween haunts. There's one that's a hayride and stuff, and outside the folks will have little grills and they'll serve bacon wrapped hot dogs, and they it's a bacon wrapped hot dog, and you get onions and peppers on it. And they'll throw mayonnaise, ketchup, mustard, whatever you want on there, and you get it with a jalapeno too. So it's kind of an adventure. Stoic Steel saying, I had Hormel spicy chili and butter bread tonight. That don't sound bad, Stoic Steel. Unfinished Project is saying, one of the questions on the Waffle House application is, can you fight? Can you hold your own? Do you carry? Tabo Garage is saying, I learned so much here. Food places we've never heard of. Yeah, Tabo, I mean, it's kind of I mean, it's not really orthodox or nothing, but it's just, that's, how I describe the live is just, it's a conversation, and then I just list classic cars, Americana, and general nonsense. And I mean, the Americana speaks for everybody, because I mean, we kind of share culture from different parts of this country, and then people pop in from Canada. You're all the way from down under, you know what I mean? So it's fun. It's fun, I think. Danny Boyd saying Roach Coach and Maggot Wagon. Some of them are bad, but all the ones I've eaten at were frequented enough to where they were able to serve good food. Bad 66 is saying there's not a Denny's near me. Yeah, but we're always trying to share stuff. Tabo, what kind of is there street food down there? Is there anything you can get like that? Hey, Kicking Dallas Auto and Random Repairs is in the chat. Howdy, Mike. How are you doing, brother? How's Missouri treating you, man? Chris Cadman's saying, at zero, my mother and grandmother were midgets, me 6'3", and looks odd in family photos. I don't think I'm supposed to call them that. They're little people. I don't know. I'm kind of overgrown, so like, people twice their size are little people to me. And I really don't like when people walk in, like, because I have kind of a blind spot, you know what I mean? I don't like when people walk back there. And on a petty day, I'll do the same thing. I'll get revenge. I'll walk really close behind you. Mopar Man saying the 24-hour restaurants come for the food and stay for the fights. You know what's crazy is the condition of some of the staff at those 24-hour restaurants. Some of those people got some serious stuff going on. Mom's saying, just the idea of picking bug legs out of my teeth. You wouldn't know what it was, especially in the biryani. There's like 47 spices. Olive saying, picking the legs off is okay. Mom's saying, curry in a hurry. Curry in a hurry is good, but Johnny Biryani's got legs. Hubie's Garage is saying the street taco trucks in Santa Ana are great too. Yeah, Hubie, there's a couple right by my old house that are worth going to. One has this amarilla salsa, the yellow salsa, and it is just amazing. And you can put that on anything, it tastes good. Mexican Spec saying, I've seen VW van food trucks here with complete kitchens, but the roof flips up on the left side. That sounds rad. Tabo's saying, oh, KFC, McD's, Hungry Jack's, Burger King here, really. Dang, man, I mean, it's good there's something, but it's cool when people are frying up some street food. As long as, it's in mildly sanitary conditions, it's usually a lot better. At least it's real. You know what I mean? It's not mass-produced, processed kind of food. Kicking Dow is saying, pretty dang good. Been riding the motorcycles every day. Spent all weekend wrenching on Dad's broken-ass Arctic Cat four-wheeler. Finally got it running after sitting 4 years. Badass, man. 4 years is it's a long time out of commission. Stoic Steel is asking, is Runza nationwide or regional? It might be regional, Stoic Steel. I've never heard of it myself. Chris Cadman saying, don't let Ari fool you. He has intimate contact with drones. That Osprey. Hubie was there for that. See that Osprey fly by, and I'm like, a little too much white in the eyes. Danny Boyd saying, I seen two teenage girls slugging it out in the office of a Shell station in 1987. Jeez. Brian M. saying, I resemble that remark. My final shifts at Jack in the Crack were overnight. Brian, but I mean, I'm talking about like the folks that are like heavy drug addicted or just not. I mean, I don't know if you were on that level. You seemed very lucid when I met you. But Olive saying roasted locust, it's like cashews with a little more nutty flavor. Mexican spec, don't they have the crickets down south with the chili powder on them? Mopar Man saying our Denny's after hours here in Branson are a freak show. The mething hour. That's good, the mething hour. Tabo's saying, no Jack in the Box. We do have some noodle places too. Otherwise, all independent restaurants. Yeah, it's cool. As long as there's something good to eat, man. I like that kind of stuff, though. I mean, it'd be nice to. I wish I could serve street food to people. Geez, man, I'm tired today. I look stoned. Unfinished project is saying, good night, y'all. Got to shower and get my beauty sleep. Got to work early tomorrow. Unfinished. Have a good night, brother. Thanks so much for stopping in. Be safe. Those hay bales sound gnarly. Don't get bailed into one. Don't. And I'll make sure to do the channel giveaway so you can get Hubie's cat. Bad 66 is saying, places I don't like. Home Depot, aka Orange Store, Burger King, and Green Store. Is Green Store Dollar Tree? All I'm saying, Taco Bell is not food. What? Olive's saying, ospreys fly by here once in a while, kind of neat. I'm not big on those things. They're pretty dang intimidating. Kicking Dallas saying, yeah, it was, he's talking about the Arctic Cat. He's saying, yeah, it was shot. Needed a new carb, plugs, drained 3 gallons of water out of the fuel tank. Battery, brakes fixed, valves adjusted, pain in the butt, but runs now. So just like a basic full refurbishment, borderline restoration. I mean, yeah, you're the guy to do it, man. Brian M. said, no, I'm just messing with you, brother. Cousin Abel's in the chat territory. How you doing, Abel? Chris Cadman saying investing in toilet paper. Tabo saying Wendy's will be opening here soon to add to the burger wars. It's kind of hit or miss with Wendy's. I went there once after our shamdemic, and it seemed like I don't know if business had slowed down or what, but they like really took some time on the food, and it was absolutely delicious. And then I went back a little later after the shamdemic, and it wasn't as delicious. Stoic Steel saying ospreys are cool. It's a crazy machine. They're Hubie's by a base over there, so they were doing like touch and goes, flying really low with that thing, and it was pretty freaky for me. Mexican Spec saying, I wouldn't go into a place that served crickets if it is here. Mexican Spec, come on, they're gluten free, man. Hubie's Garage is saying Taco Bell equals cheap colonics. The Sting Ring. You don't eat that food that gives you that sting ring now. Burritos, they're a burning thing. They'll give you that old sting ring. Bound by wild desire, that burrito gave me a ring of fire. Bad 66 is saying, no, not Dollar Tree. Chris Cabin is saying it's odd to get used to it and other little people can tell you. Any Boyd saying, oh, Jesus, I bought some cheap ratchet straps at Dollar Tree and they cut the F out of my fingers from a metal spline. Oh, geez. Yeah, no good, man. Get the Harbor Freight ones. They're pretty cheap. Kickendall's saying pretty much Dad's had it for almost 20 years. Taking the bike for a long ride around the state tomorrow since I'm off. Nice, man. Rusted Junk Garage is in the chat saying just finished in the Rusted Junk Garage being a Volvo Power seat technician. Oh man, that must have been fun. Brian M saying the A10 Warthog is gnarly. Yes. How you doing after that, Steve? You got to recover? Need a drink, man? All I'm saying, Wendy's is best when you have to wait a minute. I like the Baconator once in a while. It's the absolute most I could eat at once. Yeah, pretty much. I'm bad. I could eat a bunch of crap. I'm horrible with that. I got to watch it. Like, well, I don't want it to go to waste, so I better just eat, I better just eat all 10 tacos. Kickendall saying I was down at Leune in the early 2000s when we lost one with KF, my brother, Marines on them. I've ridden on them more times than I can care to think about. You talking about the Ospreys, Kickendall? Or are you talking about the Warthawks? Mexican Spec saying, Ari, if the cricket ate wheat, and then by transit property, it would have gluten. Squalor Tree, that's a good one, Dan. That's gold. Squalor Tree. Mexican Spec saying, there are no U.S. chain restaurants in my town. We had a Chili's here for a while, but it went away. I think Chili's went away in Culiacan, too. Stoic Steel saying, yep, the A10 Warthog delivering hate and discontent for years. Tabo's saying, best food around my way. Nearest big town is a small butcher shop in the middle of sheep country. Freshest of fresh lamb daily. That sounds unreal. Hubie's Garage is saying, Preparation H tried long ago to buy the rights to use Ring of Fire from Johnny Cash for commercials, but his people turned them down. Rusted Junk's doing a video. Nice, I'll check it out, man. I'm probably behind on the shorts. You always got your great Chevy trucks you're doing the shorts of, man. I'm jealous of those things. Kickendall saying, yeah, the Ospreys. I hear kind of that they're like notorious pieces of crap, but it's such a strange machine to me, like the size of the props, the whole concept. What I described it as like if a Chinook and a Warthog had a love child that was born in Russia. Charlie Rome was saying spaghetti sandwich with extra sauce. Oh man, sacrilege. It's like, well, you know what I mean? I saw this chicken parm. It was a sandwich that had kind of like a red sauce on it. So I better just do the same thing with spaghetti because people don't like slurping noodles. So a spaghetti sandwich it's horrible. It's sacrilege. Like people have been assassinated for less. Bad 66 is saying I'm about to do a late night run to Taco Bell. Nice, man. Chris Greenaway's in the chat. Howdy, Chris. Kickendall saying Osprey is weird. We flew them off of the Kearsarge a lot. Pushes you straight down into the seat when taking off, then slams you into the buddy next to you on the way down, or the props forward. Oh, geez. Chris Cadman saying 10 tacos. Can I sit beside you on a plane? I'm not like big. I'm not like skinny, but I'm telling you, it will kill your intestines. As she puts like some kind of 400 spice fiery curry into her food. Bad 66 is saying, I remember one time I was at work and just ate Taco Bell, and my boss came over to me and said I had to go, and in my mind, I was like, dude, go away. It was the most painful moments of my life. Tabo Garage is saying Ari needs to get himself an RC Osprey model just to help combat the fear. Paint Namer's in the chat. Howdy, bro. Saying I like cooking, and I cook any hour I want to. Not a big customer of fast food. It tastes good though. Yeah, pretty much. I'm with you there. I'd rather cook, and I've been having an itch to cook lately, but I just haven't gotten into it. Kicking out saying they're not bad. The Marines did a lot of testing on them and did a lot of procedural training changes to theirs. Pretty decent and actually fairly safe. It's actually a fairly safe airframe now. Well, that's cool, man. Bad 66 is saying, Ari, I heard they're playing Christine at one of the drive-ins in California somewhere. I wouldn't be surprised. They got a cool one. And there's the New Beverly Theater out in Hollywood. It's actually owned by Quentin Tarantino. And he often has a lot of old movies playing there. Sorry, guys. Stoic Steel saying, no tacos are safe around me. No. Tabo Garage is saying, yeah, that's it. Therapy. Yeah, I've made everybody hungry. I've done it now. Bad 66 is saying Taco Bell, roll the windows up, lock the wife in the car. Yes. Oh man, I used to always get the lady with that, the child lock and the window. Oh my God, and she would suffer. It's a miracle I'm not single. Kicking down saying, believe it or not, almost all the helos are set up for shipboard use have a strip on the end of the rotors for night ops. Ought to see them sometime with night visions on. Nice. Chris Greenway saying, all right, what did you think, man? I think the formula is going to be jealous in the next couple months. Did you, you know what? If you sent me more pictures, I haven't checked them out yet. But everything you send me is always shiny and pretty, man. Look like cars I can't afford. Mexican Spec saying, I can't eat tacos right now until the swelling goes down more. You stuck on the caldo, man? Hubie's saying, Chicken Dell, very cool. I flew in Huey's in the fire department, but retired before we got the first Firehawk. Hubie, I think they still have one of those Bell Hueys over at the, there's that, by the animal shelter in Tustin. They fly it out of there sometimes. Nathan's Mopar Garage went to see American Graffiti last week in the theater. Nice, man. I almost put it on last night, but I put on Sin City instead. Hubie's Garage is saying maybe ospreys are in the fire department. Mexican Spec saying Nathan's Mopar Garage, you forget what the movie is supposed to sound like after watching it so many times on TV. Chris Greenway saying Ari for $5,800. Oh yeah, see that's way above my head. But that's Canadian Monopoly money though, so no, I'm kidding. Yeah, it's a great car for that price, man. Paint Namer, I've never seen a more American Graffiti. I should probably enlighten myself. Hubie's Garage is saying I have a buddy who owns the Quasar Drive-In Theater in Omaha, Nebraska. They have hot rod nights and play hot rod movies. I think you were showing me that on Facebook. That looked really cool. Tabo Garage is saying, are drive-ins still big there? Nearly all closed in Australia. Only 16 left, mostly in the remote country areas. They'll do like pop-ups where it's like a big inflatable screen and stuff, but the actual drive-ins are few and far between. I think there's one inland of here. There used to be a really big one in Santa Fe Springs, but it's a swap meet now. But not too popular, no. Dakota's timeouts in the chat say more American Graffiti is pretty good other than the damn hippie. Should have cut that mess out of the movie. They were trying to be representative, Dakota. Chris Greenway saying we need to just go to Woodward as it would feel American Graffiti. Wish I could go back to when a minimum wage job meant minimal living life. Yeah, yeah, right. You could just work a factory job and buy a house. I don't think I've ever even stopped at Mel's Diner. It's right there off the freeway. Kicking down saying, I'm going to get up off here. Got to take a ride, bro. Keep your rubber between the lines. Hey, Kickendall, thanks so much for stopping in, man. Glad you got the Arctic Cat running and everything. Always glad to hear from you, brother. Rubber side up or whatever. I'm just kidding. No, thanks so much, man. Have a great week. Check your fluids, though. Dakota's saying more American Graffiti is not that great, in my opinion. It shows the like 4 different stories of the main characters and keeps swapping in and out of them. You'd be saying I watched the Milner and Toad segments and fast forward the rest. Bad 66. Yeah, it's a real place, man. It's right here I think it's off the 5 freeway towards past Commerce, right? Hubie knows. Hubie knows or my mom knows. Dakota saying, but the hippie stuff had me pulling my hair out. See, that's how you know you're a hippie, if you can actually grab your hair to pull it out. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I haven't watched it. I'll probably have the same sentiment, Dakota. Dakota, you sent me a message about crosswire in the carb or something or another. I think I hearted it, but I didn't reply to it. Hubie's Garage is saying Paul Lamette, aka Milner, liked his part in Mag, but he said, or More American Graffiti, but they said he screwed it up with jumping around doing all the individual stories. Danny Boyd saying California Kid is a kick-ass car movie. Vic Morrow and Martin Sheen. I've been watching just horrible, cheesy movies. Horrible. On the Tubi app. And it's a good app. They got all kinds of shows and movies free with ads. And I watched like Chrome and Hot Leather, that biker movie. I watched I think Easy Rider was on there. Easy Rider's kind of a hard watch, but a lot of those movies are kind of like that. Dakota saying the last time I messaged you was probably 2 months ago. No, you said something on YouTube about cross wiring the Q-Jet. It was on YouTube. And I was searching for it, but it's hard to search. I got too many videos. Bad 66. I don't know if anyone's recreated that one. You know what I wish they would redo is that the Commie Cadillac from the original Red Dawn. Someone needs to make that car. Chris Greenaway saying Riders on the Storm. To his house were born, Chris. Yeah, Olive, but I've never seen anybody do the Communist Cadillac from Red Dawn. I don't know why. It wouldn't be that hard of a car to do. All you need is mess up a Cadillac. I guess that's why. Hubie's Garage is saying Milner's dragster with the blown small block Chevy is a really cool car. The scene where he rolls through the traps, pulls the chute, and flashes the victory sign is legendary and made Milner so cool. Dakota's timeout is saying, oh yeah, you swap around your plug wires and then your engine goes pop, pop, blap, blap. And it blows the mess out of them and clean them up, theoretically anyhow. I mean, yeah. You know, Dakota, it's kind of the dead spot right kind of off idle is cleared up some, especially if I warm the truck up. It's easy to work around, but I definitely need to get in there and But the truck's running well. I've been, hitting the freeway. I've been getting around just fine. So it is so much nicer driving around with a V8. It is just so much nicer. I mean, it just picks up quick and I don't have to worry about getting in anybody's way and I can hit the fast lane. I can pass people. I accidentally did a burnout. When? Chris Greenaway saying, all right, how was the pittance of a hurricane? Uneventful, Chris, uneventful. It was short-lived. We probably could have used more rain, technically. Stoic Steel, I got to drive that Peterbilt that I worked on just around the yard, but it was kind of it was still I mean it was a tractor, but it was automatic, so it was kind of you know. Tabo hears crickets. Well, it's better than the Bollywood music. The griots, as the natives say. Bad 66 is saying it'd be so cool to see a 57 Plymouth made into the police car like in a California Kid. I like Christine, but I'd rather see something different besides another Christine. That's why I'm building a 57. Paint Neighbor saying, I think Vic Morrow's 57 Plymouth had a 392 Hemi. Tabo Garage is saying, old carby cleaning trick. It works well. I mean, I got to give it a try now. Hubie, I got the visible leak I got fixed, but I'm starting to think that it's off the manifold because there was that crack around one of the studs, and I think that it kind of got exaggerated, and maybe the weld it was welded, but it's a weld on cast, so we all know those never leak. So I'm starting to think it's off the stud in the manifold. So I'm going to replace the driver's side manifold and see if that gets rid of it because that exhaust leak is annoying, very annoying. Chris is saying R's yeehaw was a cry of joy and ecstasy in one moment. It's just nice to drive the truck again, and it was nice to see it work so well after as much as I kind of done to it. And I mean, just bottom up, I've done a lot of work to that truck. Like when the whole timing gear thing, I had the whole thing apart, but I was just working with what was there, changing what was already there, and then, I don't know. I was happy with the results. And Hubie really saved my ass with, of course, pretty much every aspect of the project. But he set up that distributor so well that the truck just fires right up. So. Hey, BNR Racing's in the chat. Howdy, Brian. Cousin Mike saying, I'm back. I had a call. Stoic Steel saying, ooh, the Eaton Ultra Shift. Yeah. I mean, it's a cool thing, but for me, I kind of wanted to shift. What is it? Mexican Specs and Bad 66. If you go to the channel, Auto Auction Rebuild, sometime back, he bought a 58 Plymouth, but it was a 6-cylinder. You might want to check it out. Cousin Mike saying, my new bird has 2 cracks in the exhaust manifold. Might go borrow one from Barrows. Yeah, the exhaust leak's really annoying, especially because everything else is so smooth. There's no weirdnesses. And I'm really glad. I didn't think I'd say this, but I'm kind of glad that the 3-speed broke. That thing was wore out. I probably would have been having trouble with it already. Dakota Sand, BNR, might a Pontiac 400 What might a Pontiac 400 make as far as power and torque with a 9.5 to 1 compression ratio? Number 13 heads, 211 to 177 valves with 204, 214, 110 LSA cam, stock intake, Holley double pumper, and long tube headers. Danny Boyd saying there's more than one Plymouth in the California Kid. Mopar Man saying I'd like to have the Mopar from the 85 Christmas movie One Magic Christmas. It's a 57 Dodge Regent, basically a 57 Fury. Chris Greenaway saying, is it bad that my buddies think I'm crazy working on old cars, but when they hit the I want something nice phase, I'll be the only one who knows their stuff? I don't know, man. Most of my buddies were into the same old crap as me. Oh, man, they're just marrying over there. It's bless them. Yeah, at Zero knows. You remember when we all had we all had trucks at once. Ryan had his 64 GMC, Tanner had the 63 Chevy, I had the Apache, and my buddy Robbie even had a 64 Chevy pickup. And I mean, I guess technically still they still have trucks. The same guy Ryan, he's got a 66 C20 that he's been working on for a couple years. My buddy Tanner's got his 63 that he did a frame up restoration on. He's been working on that for about 6 years. And my buddy Rob, who I was talking about, actually just bought, I believe, a 68 Chevy pickup, but it's more of a resto mod. But Rob's a real mechanic. Like, he actually went to school for it, so I don't blame him. He probably doesn't want to deal with old crap. Dakota, Brian saying, Dakota, that camshaft is kind of mild. Max horsepower will depend greatly on the valve job. 3-angle, 5-angle intake better. 370 horsepower, maybe all ideal. Chris Greenaway saying the 460 will be fun. I love 460s. Dakota saying, Thumper said 330 horsepower, maybe 350 horsepower. Ryan saying 74 Trans Am 455 is hurt. Yeah, what did I miss? Stoic Steel is out for the night. He's tapping out. Hey, thanks so much for stopping in, brother. I hope you have a decent week. I hope the hay doesn't bother you too much, and be safe out there. Check your fluids, man. Alan Williamson's in the chat. Howdy, Alan. He's saying good horsepower. Yeah, that's really healthy. That's really healthy. Anything over 3. I feel like, I don't know, a lot of people are, especially nowadays, they're like, I need 800 horsepower. And I'm like, you sure? Dakota's timeout is saying, you couldn't really check the oil because of the windage tray. I ran it low until it started knocking. You pulled an Ari? I'm sorry, Dakota. I'm sorry. Dougster's saying, today I pulled the cab bolts out, the steering column, and the bench seat and the windshield to remove the dash on shop truck. We'll completely pull the wiring harness tomorrow. Dang, son, that's a lot of work. Chris Greenaway saying, Dakota, a machine shop can change a 400 into a 455 any day. Bad 66 is saying, Ari is right on check your fluids. I was 1 quart low on oil and a solid 1.5 quart low on ATF plus 4. It'll happen fast. Brian saying, don't need a windage tray. You didn't have that special adapter tube. Tony was just kind of talking about that on his channel, you know what I mean? With certain engines, you don't really want the windage tray. Dakota saying, the 400 I have is supposed to be good. Just a 557 block, but I won't be pushing the power limit anyhow. Dakota saying one of the rods is knocking. You pulled an Ari, man. That's no good. No good at all. Bad 66 is saying might want to consider winterizing your cars and trucks too. Don't want the blocks to freeze. Oh yeah, definitely gotta worry about freezing now. No, it's not a problem down here, but I do still have water in the truck. I want to put some actual coolant in there. She was getting warm on me the other day because I was in bumper to bumper traffic for a second, and she wasn't happy about it. But fan shroud and some coolant would probably do me some good. Coda's time out of saying, I got number 13 heads, so it will get that compression from like 7.5 to 1 to 9 to 1. Yeah, that's something. Brian saying, stock Pontiac V8 oil pan does not allow more than 1 quart low before the engine sucks in air. Hubie's Garage is saying, my L79 327 in my red and white 55 has a windage tray. The L79 was out of a 67 Vet. That's such a sweet car, Hubie. I know you want to straighten everything out on it and everything, but it's still just such a beauty. Dakota's time out saying, this 400, I'm going to dump 3 gallons of straight 40 just to be on the safe side. Danny Boyd saying, I froze out a 5.0 once, just locked the water pump and pushed out a freeze plug. One under the motor mount bracket. It's horrible, Dan. I'm sorry, brother. Cousin Mike saying, probably fan shroud Ari, water cools better, just can freeze and rust. Yeah, shroud would probably do me decent. I just did the water because I was working in Hubie's driveway, and if I got any leaks or anything, I didn't want it to be spitting coolant all over his stuff. Which is obnoxious because then I cracked my gearbox and then got gear oil all over the. I mean, it was kind of amazing, honestly. I hadn't spilled any oil, a little bit of brake fluid. You know, I was like just on this like perfect pristine. I'm not spilling any oil on Hubie's driveway run, and then the gearbox cracks, and of course the thickest, most viscous oil that the truck has starts spilling. Chris Greenaway saying, Tony is a listen and think towards it, but don't take everything he says as gospel because he even admits that detonating problem should have been solved sooner. Yeah, I mean, you know what I mean? The guy's bound to miss a couple things, but generally he doesn't give bad advice. I really like the fact that Tony will, you know, basically tell you all the most of what the naysayers say is BS. You know what I mean? He won't have you overthinking something. That's why I really like Tony's advice. He'll be saying, I have to get that one back on the road like yesterday before summer ends. Will be a full day of wrenching tomorrow for sure. If you need help, Hubie, I'm there, man. Ryan's saying, compression is nice, Dakota. Makes it hard to tune for 91 and 93. Impossible on 87 gas when money is tight or no 91 and 93. High compression Pontiac V8 is made for 100 octane gasoline. Hey, Shop Cat's in the chat. Brethren, how you doing, man? Dave Lewis is saying Moroso oil pans are mandatory on Pontiac engines. I'm unenlightened, Dave. I've never worked on a Pontiac engine. UB's Garage is saying any freeze on the driveway may have been a good thing, if you know what I mean. Some messages on Messenger. That. Paint Namer saying distilled water and a rust inhibitor. Tabo Garage is saying never worry about blocks freezing here. Very rare we get a winter here. A winter night below 28 Fahrenheit here. Yeah, exactly. It's rare to get down past even 30 Fahrenheit here, Tabo. It's Certain areas, I mean, obviously there's mountainous places down here, but where I'm at, it's not an issue. Bad 66 is saying, I never waste coolant on purchasing unknown engines. I always use water first, and it runs good and no milkshake in the oil or leaks during the water not cooling. Yeah, that was my thinking, you know what I mean? I just didn't want to make too much of a mess. Plus, coolant's slimy and annoying when you get leaks. Brian's saying high compression is only worth 40 horsepower more peak, typical without a dedicated drag race profile cam combined 100 horsepower more than Dakota. Race gas 110 pure. 110 is expensive. Dave Lewis is saying bad oil control in stock form. Yeah, I haven't messed with any, Dave. I really haven't. I messed with basic stuff. Chevys, a couple small block Chevys, some Fords, some big block Fords, 400 Ford. Hubie's Garage is saying, I'll be pulling the engine and trans on the historic gasser if you want to. I have to get it out to paint early this week. Yeah, I didn't know. I thought you guys had already done it. But you never said that, so why would I assume? I don't know. My poor brain. Chris Greenaway saying, I love Tony telling people what they got and telling people, run what they got and don't let the guy with the biggest wallet run your fun to show them up. I'm just saying it's knowledge that you should consider, but don't make it a deliberation. Chris Greenaway saying, going to hit negative 30 this year, guaranteed. I'm sorry, man. Bad 66 is saying, what happens if you use purple power to flush a radiator and coolant system? I've never used anything particularly. I don't know. Maybe vinegar or something, I guess. I don't know if you're supposed to run anything through the coolant system. I've never used an actual flush. I've always just thrown a hose in there and let the heat and the system kind of clear itself out. Brian saying, Dakota, next time using Isky 280 Mega hydraulic or reproduction Pontiac 041 cam. Bad 66 is asking if CLR would work better to flush the water jackets out. I'm not sure on that one. Tall Garage is in the chat. Howdy, Ken. How's it going, man? Cousin Mike saying, I just used radiator flush. I've never even used it, Mike. I've always just ran the hose until I got clear water and then drained it and added coolant and distilled water if I had it. Usually not. Cousin Mike saying 60 is high here tomorrow. I'm excited. Might go fish. It's not going to rain you out, though, is it, Mike? I was telling my buddy about those big old German browns, man. Mike catches some serious fish, guys. I don't know if you guys have ever caught those videos, but he knows what he's doing out there. Brian's saying, best cooling system flush I use is EvapoRust Thermocure. That makes sense, Brian. I was thinking something like that, like a converter or like a rust mort, but I didn't know if there was anything you could run through the system. Is that made specifically for that purpose, or is it something that you figured out works for the purpose? Chris Greenaway is talking about Game of Thrones. I think he's saying winter is coming. Hubie's saying, I was told to use CLR on the water jackets when I got rust buildup. I know it works, but a hot water flush did the trick for me without going to CLR. Yeah, exactly. I feel like you get a lot of debris out. Ever since I changed the radiator on the Apache, I haven't ever had too much sediment or anything in the cooling system. Could probably use a little flush now, but it's still not too bad. Cousin Mike saying, I guess it's supposed to rain like hell. It's because it's county fair right now. Damn, I bet the fair up there is cool. The fair down here is kind of a sad thing. Everybody hits Boot Barn, and then they go to the fair. Chris Cadman's talking about crabs. Cat. What do you want? What do you want? No. 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 Yeah, there you go. If you guys are ever wondering how to communicate with felines, you got to use a monotone like that. It works on big cats too. Yeah, no. Dougster's home. He's saying I ate dinner. Now it's time for a beer and my one hitter. Chill out with my friends. Nice, man. Glad to have you, brother. Hope it was a good day. No. Now he's eating again. Cat does nothing. Mexican spec, I'm telling you, use the monotone and the spray bottle. Brian saying, Mopar Man, yes, it's a chemical chelating agent. Works by ion particle transfer of iron rust. It turns the ferric oxide into ferric oxide. Zero's got it. It's Cat, you haven't earned a meal. Okay, it's showing a message. Chris Cadman says, teach the cat to purr like a drone. Chris Greenaway saying, wish I had friends that were close. It'd be Ari's amigo, but being in the snow belt versus the orange belt, long commute for a beer. Yeah, man, that'd be cool. I you know what I mean? I try to hang out with everybody. Everybody I can from YouTube. I've met Alva. Alva calls, he checks up on me. I spend a bunch of time with Hubie. Try to help with whatever I can. He's always helping me though, so it's kind of, but just the same, I really I enjoy meeting people from YouTube, man. It'd be cool to have a beer, chill out. I don't drink much at all. I had a small glass of mezcal with my buddy Luis yesterday, and I was sitting there, I almost had to take a knee. I was getting a little spinny off the mezcal. Hey, Blake's in the chat, Bad Tree Productions. He says, heathens, assemble! I was enjoying watching you guys build that transmission earlier, Blake. That was cool. Blake, that was cool. We're just talking crap on the hippie. Brian saying, leave the factory oil shields off. They give up and fail at 5,500 RPM, huh? Mopar Man saying, BNR, that should also clean out the inside of the water passages in the block as well. People should use that on their Jeep 4.0s since they have cooling issues sometimes from not being maintained properly. Yeah, I can imagine. Those 4.0s, those 4.0s get abused. Blake saying, a filthy hippie. Him and his free love and his free internet. Yeah, Blake and the Bad Tree team, they're all gearing up for the No Name Nationals and all that. It's kind of it's cool seeing everybody get ready for the race and everything, but I do get bummed that, can't really go, but maybe one of these years. But yeah, but you guys are racing all the time. It's just another race for you guys. Blake's like a drag racing coach. Oh, man. Dakota saying, I don't have time to machine my heads for the fancy valve guide seals. Tabo's saying, I had the most glorious spring day yesterday down here. Now it's bucketing rain. Yeah, we had a little drizzle out here, but it's always mild. It's hot right now. It's muggy and hot. Like it was overcast and just once the sun got on you, it was just bad. Bad trees saying, at least you'll have a few good shows to watch. Yeah, that much. You guys will be kicking ass over there, I'm sure. Bad 66 is saying, I remember one time I was drunk. I went live on YouTube. I couldn't do it. I would run my mouth way too much. I already got to hold my tongue. Chris Catman saying we have a drone club near my place. Oh, Blake, you're golden, man. A couple beers in you, man. You're golden. Those are the best streams, man. Those are the best ones. Brian's talking about Dakota. I have to get back to Pontiac V8 after No Name Nationals 23. Pontiac V8, only my channel for a while. 70 TA, 63 Jeep Grand Prix. Share more of my personal build details secret. Not on Facebook no more. Dakota, I don't know if he's going to the No Name Nationals, but Brian's actually going to start his own Doomsday Nationals. Chris Cadman's asking, no, if I've ever worked on boats. I have not. I have not. I got buddies that do. They polish them out. One buddy had a boat cleaning service. He goes scrape barnacles and stuff. One of my friends, Cayman, is actually a marine mechanic with his dad, but I've never messed with them at all. At Zero, don't like the Beatles. Bad 66 is saying, I kept sanding on my fenders when I was drunk and watching Christine. Nah. The Doomsday Nationals. B&R Racing's Doomsday Nationals. Sponsored by B&R Racing and Waffle House. Danny Boyd saying, drunken bodywork never worked for me. Seems to work for the rest of the industry. Every painter and body man I met was drinking. Mexican Spec saying there's a 77 BMW, oh geez, I lost it. 77 BMW 320i here in Mexico for sale. Not legalized and cheap. Is anybody a BMW fan here? My dad is Mexican Spec, but it's the last thing in the world he needs. Bad 66 is saying, I tell you though, Christine isn't a joke. It's a very real thing. It's crazy how that movie truly does pull you in. I mean, she got me. Once you start building a 57 Plymouth, you don't want to stop. Brian's saying there's a Mad Max Doomsday event in California. That's right. It's called oh man, I forgot what it's called. But people dress up and go. It's like Burning Man, but for the apocalypse. Dougster is saying, Tom from Cold War Motors talks about painters who were professionals but couldn't paint sober. They shook sober. Yeah, it's a real thing. It's a real thing. Mopar Man saying, in the words of Meatloaf, up next is Crucial Taunt and the Shitty Beatles. Theodore is saying, also the Burning Man event in Nevada, rained crazy, 70,000 people living doomsday now. Yeah, it's pretty rough out there. I mean, people bring a lot of stuff and they do all right, but there's also a certain amount of the crowd that just ends up like naked in the desert without water. It's pretty bad. Hubie's Garage is saying, Bad 66, I will post my Christine Meme Monday post on my community page just for you tomorrow. Nice. Chris Cadman's got a dog for sale. Well, I've got a cat for free. Ad Zero saying, started at Burning Man, got too weird, so it became its own deal. Yeah, it's like, forget what it's called. But people, yeah, they I had a roommate that was into it, and he was like, I remember one time he was like filling the basement full of these foam panels. I'm like, what you doing, man? Just out there gardening or whatever. And I see him doing this. He's like, this is a yurt for Burning Man. And I kind of just looked at him and like, all right, right on, man. And I kept gardening. And then he felt the need to explain to me what a yurt is. So one thing he had that was cool was a giant parachute. I think it was like a parachute for some military equipment or something. And I didn't really care about it. I just wanted to take a piece of it to make a cover for my truck. Hubie's Garage is saying, better stated, Von Dutch was a blackout drunk. Bad 66 saying, RDSM, Rust doesn't scare me. Zero says, yurt? Nah, man, I'm into chicks, dude. Cousin Mike's headed to bed. Saying later, everyone. Thanks for stopping in, Cousin Mike. I hope it wasn't too boring, man. I'll probably stop in for your live stream tomorrow night. If you guys don't know, Cousin Mike does a Grrr Mondays live stream. It's an open mic. It's often just him, but Mike's live streams are really great. People from all over the world, different folks, and they're a lot of fun. So make sure to tune in with me. Mike, have a great week, brother. Check your fluids. Olive's saying, yurts work, but there's no damn need for them in California. I don't know. I try to be really open-minded, but I'm not. I don't know how else to say that. Because Mike's getting his unobtainium taillights. Yeah, he had to order something. And if you guys, I don't know if I disclosed this, but most of my unfindable hot rod parts I get imported from Idaho from Cousin Mike and Brother Barrow's Garage. So if they can't find something, that means it's pretty dang rare. Chris Greenaway's saying, Dakota, I'd recommend spotting some 6X heads. Bad 66, you don't got to worry about that, man. You can be drunk as hell on YouTube. What they're worried about is like you consuming alcohol on camera. Sometimes they get weird about that. Or if like if you're smoking weed or something on a live, they'll trip on that. But I don't know. Jason's Garage is in the chat saying, what's up? Not much, Jason. Just over here running my mouth, same as ever. Normal Sunday night. Chris Cadman saying, is Uncle Tony's lawnmower okay? I think it's good, man. That lawnmower is going to be going for a long, long time. Yeah, Ad Zero saying it's Sunday night yurt talk. We're talking about yurts and DNR Racing's Doomsday Nationals. Cousin Mike saying a lot of things get by till you're monetized. Yeah, that's what I'm wondering, Cousin Mike. They're going to go through all my crap and they're going to be like, well, actually, we're going to have to delete your channel. This is the end. You compared the DMV to Dachau. We're deleting your channel. Paint Namer saying there's yurt camping in Idaho that is part of a game preserve. Yeah, Paint Namer, those things are pretty cool. You go out like to, I've seen those little different resorts and stuff, and out in the mountains. It makes sense, if you just need a simple structure somewhere. But it was like this thing was, I don't know, it was stuffing this thing in the basement for no reason. I was like, all right, whatever. The same guys that want to complain about me having too many cars and tools and stuff, and here they are. Let's make sure we got this yurt though. Chris Greenaway saying, I wish somebody could find me the Montego GT grill bullet emblem. Chris, if I see it, I'll keep an eye out, man. You never know. I run into some weird stuff. I had a horn cap for Hubie's 210 four-door. Just random stuff I have. Ad Zero saying, I just wanted to say I'm having fun with all this yurt talk. I have no idea what it is. Please don't. Tell me it's funnier this way. Right, I'm saying too many tools. Have you seen my garage? Your garage was rad, man. Garage was rad. I was jealous of the wood paneling craftsman box. Mom's saying the yurts are great in Yosemite. Dan, we're not gonna. Why are we talking about yurt? I did this. I brought this upon myself. I brought the yurt up. I did this to myself. The yurt is like a low-lying structure meant to displace heat, if I'm not mistaken. What else do I get? Who the hell is trying to bother me right now? Oh, God. It's a 55 to 57, 150 horn cap. See, I can't even remember what. Olive saying yurts are Mongolian huts. They're collapsible and portable. Ah. At Zero, yes, I guess it is Mongolian. At Zero saying, can you take the yurt for falconing? Yes. Yes, I think it was that there's probably like a little smaller spot inside of the yurt for the falcon. Olive saying they're good for a variety of weather conditions, usually cold. Modernly, some of them put on dug-in foundations. Yep. If I run a yurt over my car to run. Hubie's Garage is saying we use yurts at fire camps. Yeah, this was like a. But the idea for this one was it was like probably 10 or 12-inch thick, like some kind of foam pads. I don't know what their intended purpose was. I don't even know where you buy them. And well, no, maybe they weren't that thick, but it was like foam pads, and apparently these guys would dig the base of this thing out so it was slightly underground, and they would set up this foam yurt and crawl into it, and it's Burning Man, so it's like I don't know what goes on. About paint neighbor saying I have about 15 adjustable wrenches that I painted moss green and are hanging from a tree at the end of my driveway. That's what having too many tools. Yeah. Chris Cadman saying, what if my dog farts in a yurt? I think it'll change the temperature, brother. Olives, yes, you hit nail on the head there. Burning Man is mostly rich tech bros trying to hippie. Yep. Bunch of damn hippies. Ain't got no job. And they're damn free love. They want to take that LSD, go to a whole different world. Ain't right. Olives saying they're nicer than a tent, though. We're talking try fives. Chris Greenway saying I'm a shade tree fix it man. Danny Boyd saying refugees from a guerrilla love in. Charlie Roma saying good night, everybody. Have a safe Labor Day. Thanks so much for stopping in, brother. Hope I didn't bore you too much. Always appreciate you coming through. Have a great week, man. Have a happy Labor Day. Check your fluids, brother. Brian's saying that the oil shields add weight to the valve stem tips, promoting valve float right at 52 to 5,500 RPM. It's not Joe Diffie, is it, Chris? No, I'm thinking Pickup Man. Ad Zero saying Hubies are like them post, like a 56 210 side trim is red or rad, simple and great. Oh, Merle. Brian saying also known as toss weight. Brian, I wish there was more Pontiac engines around to work on. I love those things. They're funky. The cars, the engines, everything. You know what I mean? I feel like it'd be something cool to wrap my head around. But Mexican Spec saying, adios, Saul. Got to go cut a tree. A mango tree. George Washington cut down the cherry tree. Mexican Spec cut down the mango tree. Mopar Man's saying, you guys would like camping in a traditional teepee. My folks have one for the Indian Mountain Men reenactments, but besides having canvas baker's tent, oh, that'd be kind of cool. Wigwam or a teepee, 2 tents. Mexican Spec, have a great night, brother. Thanks for stopping in. I'm glad you're feeling better. Glad you got the tooth taken care of. And I hope you have a great week, brother. Check your fluids, man. Brian, I've been wanting to, the problem is I don't have anywhere to really, put anything right now. But I really, now that the 350 is in the truck, I need to have a useless engine on an engine stand. So I figured it's about time to get my big block. Dougster saying I use a Trapper's Lodge when I go to my mountain man camping, white canvas. Yeah, Doug, those looked rad, man. You sent me some pictures. It was like it's pretty cool out there, man. Everybody had the clothes and stuff too. Ad Zero saying Hubie, in 1993 I helped my boss with his. I think he's talking about the one of the Tri Five. He's saying got it in all Chevy magazine. Nice. Chris Cadman saying, do you know what hides in trees? Drones. No drones. Dougster saying we represent the fur trade 1800 to 1840. Nice, man. See, that'd be cool, you know what I mean? Just go, just kill small animals for a living. All I'm saying, an ex of mine lived in a yurt for a long time with like full utilities. Though we met because it was burned down and I was called to fix something. There's some irony there. I mean, glad they're all right. Brian M saying, what we really need in this stream is more drones. I don't know if I'm hearing a leaf blower out there. Kind of sounds kind of drone like. I'm hearing something. I'm saying, yeah, all right, long since. Funny how things pass, how significant they are from 1 minute to the next. Huh? Doug's saying, Andrew's saying, Doug, it's awesome. I mean, them wee furry creatures weren't doing nothing with that fur. Doug's after the beaver pelts. Got to send you a song later, Doug. Andrew saying, why fear technology? Technology fears power outage and squirt bottles. I went shooting with my buddy Sam this week, Whiskey Sam, and popped a couple rounds off with his 12 gauge, and I was thinking, like, man, you know, how great would it be just to have some drones for target practice? He'd be saying, bad 66. The 150 business coupe has no back seat, does not have roll down back windows. I think putting a window in the tracks and window and tracks in are is difficult. Chris Cadman saying Ari needs the propeller beanie. I've always wanted one of those, Chris. I always thought it'd be very fitting, especially when I'm wearing my overalls. Hubie Scrod is saying at zero, if it was in all Chevy, I've probably seen. Yeah, you probably know the owner. Hubie knows everybody. At zero saying, ever seen computers versus squirt gun? You can have one guess as to the results. GTI Warriors in the chat saying, hey, everybody, riding in an airport shuttle, but wanted to pop in and say hi. How's it going, brother? Thanks for stopping in, man. Glad to have you. Brian saying it was fucking drones. I mean, you know, it's kind of funny. It was such a non-issue, but then, you know, you get the right idiot and flies one in your face. All of a sudden, you don't like drones. But I don't want to take it out on the drones because they're kind of cool. You know what I mean? Like in the same breath, I would like to have drone footage of the truck. But I think if one of those things buzzed by, I'd probably, you know, go full like Cousin Strawberry and Cheech and Chong, just bail out. Hmm. 13 coats, midnight blue. Yeah, Ford color. The first time I seen deep paint. Also, 3 deuce carbs. Tugster saying drones don't hurt people. Stupid people with drones hurt people. Yeah, you know what I mean? You know, you got to imagine. I've probably said this before, but my poor lady, you know what I mean? She gets calls like, hey, you know what I mean? This is going to sound really stupid, but a drone just flew into my face. I need you to take me to the hospital. Or a call like, hey, do you mind coming down here and helping me grab a few things? I'm getting fired because of a toy accordion. You know what I mean? And that's those are usually, I mean, it's not that's two out of three. I usually give people three strikes, but that was, that's a good sign to just, not be employed at a certain place. You know what I mean? Just for what, I'm making my lady deal with alone. So now every time I call her, whether it's like, hey, do you want me to grab some snacks or something? I'll be like, hey, and she's like, hey, what's up? You know what I mean? I'll be, hey, another drone flew into my face, and she's like, don't say that. You know what I mean? She doesn't really like the joke. Brian saying USA made drones been attacking Moscow nonstop. World War III now with Russia. I mean, yeah. Brian, have you ever heard the song Warhead by the UK Subs? I think you'd like that song. All I'm saying, the drone really should have had rotor guards. I mean, yeah, and there's the frighteningly obvious that drones shouldn't be flying near people's faces. But I mean, but you definitely have a point. Nate Mayfield's in the chat saying, "It can't stay for long. Just wanted to pop in and say hello. Hope you're doing well." Thanks so much, Nate. I'm doing well. Hope you're doing well as well. It's a good night. I'm just sitting here yapping. We were talking about yurts and drones and food for a long time, different kinds of food, street food, what have you. uh, Good old Brian. What is it? Why is it saying? Oh, as long as it's not censoring you, Brian. I don't like when it censors you. Chris Greenaway saying, painting the inside of the oil pan, Darth 440 drone, then a toy accordion. You know what's funny, Chris? Is that CUDA, it won a couple awards. And at the car show. And of course, this one went straight to everybody's head. They're like, oh, it won best in show. It won best in show. And I was like, I come up and I'm like, yeah, but was the hood open? And it really screwed everybody. It was just such a buzzkill thing to say. I love it. It was the same thing as like, hey, when you Google hot rod shops, we're the first to come up. And I was like, hey, when you Google pizza, Domino's comes up. So, I'm a prick. I mean, honestly, I really, really don't want to get onto politics or war or anything again. But after all the money sent to Ukraine, I'm ready to like have one of those dancing bears. I feel like Russia's not that bad. That's all I'm going to say. No more politics. I don't have the palate for it. I do not. The bad. He'd be saying bad 66, probably real rusty Nomad or convertible that has been saved. There is a guy on Facebook who built a 55 with just a roof. Chris Cadman saying, as the drone's lawyer, Ari was the aggressor. At zero, what's that? The Russian new wave you sent me at zero with Oleg, the keyboardist dude. I can't even say it. It's in like Cyrillic or something. Hubie's Garage is saying this guy had a family heirloom car and kept cutting rust off to rebuild what was left with the roof. He was committed to rebuilding the car. Hey, if it gets done, it gets done. Brian saying, so what do you want, Ari? 396, 402, 427, 454. Brian, you know the dreams of 454. I just saw a really good price, 396, not too far from here. I think the guy wanted about 700 bucks for it, and it came with an aluminum power glide, which obviously isn't the most desirable, but still it was a good price. You know what I mean? I paid 600 for my 350 with the crap heads on it. But yeah, Brian, I'd really like to have a 454 to build, but I would need that's probably down the line. I'd need some money to do it how I wanted to. Just finally throw down some real money, get a T56 for it and everything. Sand Mountain Ballistics is in the chat. Howdy, Hunter. How are you, man? Brian saying, if you guys on YouTube are using the 366 and a 427 tall deck, big block Chevy. I haven't read about those. I know they're old like truck work motors. I just don't know anything about them. Hubie's saying you've been eyeballing that 396. The aluminum glide is way better than the cast iron glide. Yeah, yeah. Dave Lewis is saying if you go big block, go big. Like bore it out. Got a 502 in the Apache. I mean, that frame is tough as sin. I'm sure it could take it. Dave Lewis is saying 632. ZZ 632 action. That would be a dream, man. An absolute dream. If I had the money, man, I totally would. That was I kept saying stuff like that at the shop. You know, I'm like, where's the 632 action? Where's this? You know, why are we building anything besides this old 90s crap? Yeah, I love those. I love big block Chevys. They're perfect. It's perfect. At Zero just linked some rad Russian music. Olive saying back in the day they used to use box frames like that if they wanted to put in big horsepower. Yeah, exactly. Olive, I feel like I used to be worried about that thing getting twisted like a pretzel, but now I realize I probably couldn't hurt that thing if I tried. Hubie's Garage is saying I may track down a 454 someday for a future day cruiser boat build. Hubie's got a great boat build in mind, and it would be kind of cool to see it come to fruition. Just mostly so I can sit there and drink beer and listen to a big block while he flies around with. Mopar Man, I didn't see your comment. What was it? Did I miss a good one? Last one. It says the last one is retracted from you. Unless I'm missing something. That I do miss. I miss many things. Mopar Man saying the 2023 on 2023 the drones became self-aware. At Zero is saying that. I'm like John Connor, like the drones try to take me out. GTL Warriors and go with an ISX. Dougster saying, all right, look for the GM Performance Reproduction ZL1 with all aluminum block. Bare block weighs 110 pounds. Woo! Dave Lewis is saying there are a lot of 632s running here in Sportsman and Top Dragster. They're amazing machines, man. I think I have the magazine from when they first came out, and I was just, I'm like, oh, perfect. You know what I mean? Because I was worried they'd stop making stuff like that. I was even, they stopped with the Hemi production. Stellantis is trying to, take over that and instill that the Hurricane or whatever, or the Tornado engine. What is it? It's some kind of turbo inline six, which is cool. I love inline sixes, but it's like I was worried. They're just, big V8s are going to become a thing of the past. Chris Cabin saying time to get out the Gretsch. You be saying looking for a 70s 20-foot Spectra day cruiser, and we'll build a 468 or 496 big block Chevy with a Berkeley jet. See, that's class right there. Jet, no propeller. Reconnecting. Okay. Ryan saying a big block Chevy is a killer good oiling system and a massive big oil pump. Ari, stout block and strong crankshaft, big strong crankshaft. Like I said, I feel like it would also be very conducive to the way I drive. I mean, the small block's great. I really can't complain. It's night and day. It's awesome. Awesome. But big block would be real fun. Sure wish I could have got the rest of the parts off of that 62 pickup though. That would have been helpful. Car's a family heirloom. Yeah, there's no heirloom cars in my family. If there was, it'd be like a Peugeot or a Citroen or something. Pops had those cars. Hubie's Garage is saying it'll suck gas, but it'll be lots of fun at the river. Yeah, that'll be great, man. I've been to the river a handful of times, and I always just loved it. There's something beautiful about that. It's just hot as sin out in the desert, and it feels like the wind blows, and it feels like you're standing by a propane heater or something, and then you jump in the water, and it's ice cold mountain water, and it's like, and people are burning gas and drinking beer and having a good good old time. Bad 66 doesn't like Christmas, prefer to skip it. Halloween rules, though. You gotta like them all, man. Christmas is great. Hubie's Garage is saying the Apache is an heirloom. Yeah, I guess at this point it is. I'll never forget when my son called it his truck. He's like, my truck. I was like, yeah, it is your truck. Like, yes, claim it. That's totally yours. GTI Warriors, and that's the real reason Ray spazzed. You were getting all the good parts. No way, man. He didn't want to use any of that. That's another thing that was annoying to me. You know what I mean? It was like he just wanted to swap the body onto a different frame, and then he wanted to shorten the bed. So I'm like, well, you know what I mean? You could have got a cab and a bed. You know what I mean? It would have saved you some money. But well, you guys know me. I was tempted. If I would have been around, I would have just swapped my broken 235 into the 62 and run it with a knocking engine. Could have done that. Hubie's Garage is saying, when we say the river, we mean Colorado River in Arizona. Yes, thank you. Parker Strip in Arizona. Got to clarify. I forget not everybody's from this crap hole. But yeah, he wanted to do a frame swap with it. And he was over there measuring wheelbases, and I'm looking at him like this is why everything that I have to do in this shop turns into a nightmare. Right here. This is why. Chris Cabin saying our bed and a cab. The bench seat is the bed. Chris Cadman's trying to talk crap on Hotel Apache. Dexter saying, my Johnson Wood cabin sleeper had a 318 Chrysler that looked like it was damn near plucked right out of a car. It's kind of rad. 318, you know it's not going to give you problems. At Zero's been running the hell out of that 318 for years, and like slowly but surely everything around it kind of fails to some degree or another, but the 318 doesn't. Excuse me. Chris Cabin saying LSD is one hell of a yeah, it sure is. LSD drones, acid drone flashbacks. Hubie's Garage is saying some of the marine versions of engines out there are great for hot rod builds. I was told, I mean, there was kind of weirdnesses with them, like they'll have like a reverse rotation, different firing order and stuff like that. I don't know if there's any truth to that or not, but that's what I was told. But I think there's a guy who goes to Donut Derelicts, Hubie, and he's got a 427 in his it's like a 65 Chevy pickup, and it's out of a boat. Trust all live chat. Doug's saying marine engine is designed spinning for 6,000 RPM for hours on end. Okay, there Brian's saying twin engine boats, yes. RE1 engine turns reverse rotation. Maybe that's what I heard. I just misheard it, but that was another one too. I was told that a lot of older boats used Chevy and GMC 6-cylinders in twin 6-cylinders. I don't know if there's any truth to that. I haven't seen it, but people would always tell me that. This was all something I was kind of picking the brain of one marine mechanic that used to come around and fix things for an old boss of mine, and yeah, I just remember picking that up. Dave Lewis is saying some of the old twin engine boats had a right and left rotation motors. See, that's crazy to me. Like, is there like how would you even know? What's indicative of that? You know what I mean? What you're saying, Pierce Arrow engines were popular as a boat engine in the 20s. Hubie's Garage is saying Barrow speaks of Marine 460s a lot. I think the firing orders are the same. What Dougster said too. Brian saying they used Oldsmobile 425, 455. A few used Pontiac's 389 and 421 V8. For reverse gears. Hey, New Guy's Guitars in the chat. Howdy, brother. How's it going, man? You over there picking up a storm, man? GTI Warriors saying, well, I got to drive the 2-hour drive home. I'll still be listening, but I won't be able to chat. Hey, man, be safe, brother. I'll be yapping here for a little bit longer, I'm sure. BNR saying Harden Marine and Chris Craft. Dave Lewis is saying some 283s and 327s in the late 50s and 60s boats had. In the late 50s and 60s, boats had 392 Hemis and Mopar flathead 6s. You guys' garage is picking up a storm. Nice, man. I almost bought a cheapy guitar off offer up today. Some guy was getting rid of a nice like a vintage Yamaha. I was tempted. I want one of those little parlor guitars though, man. Something it's easier for me to sing over. Those dreadnoughts are loud, man. Brian M saying, bad 66. I love the concept of what you're thinking, using what's available. I have built Frankenstein RC cars. Yeah, Bad 66 is pretty dang clever. He gets a lot done over there. Danny Boyd saying Navy PBR used 2 6V53 Detroits. BNR saying, Doug, those classic wood speedboats are works of art. Hubie's Garage is saying, Dougster, I have the opportunity to own a Pierce Arrow engine. Seagrave Fire Engines bought the Pierce Arrow V12 engine and ran them in the 40s or the 60s. I have a chance to buy our 56. Damn, son. Dougster saying, we bought a Mercruiser 4.3 V6 that had windows, the block. We bought new pistons and rod. Put a GM 4.3 street block only. Boat parts. We didn't use the manifolds and intake. New Guys Garage is saying the concert size is ridiculous. The parlors are nice, not too loud. Yeah, just something kind of to mess around with. I remember picking up an old Seagull parlor guitar. Man, that thing was sweet. I wish I would have bought it, but I don't know. Danny Boyd saying, yeah, the PBR boat was in Apocalypse Now. Exactly, yeah. Going up the river. Bad 66 is saying you can also run a small block Chevy in the 57 Bel Air frame with no modifications because it came factory that way anyway. I'm going to run a small block Chevy until I can get the real motor in a 360. You'd be saying any 57 back on the road is a good one. Beats crushing them. At Zero is going to crash, he's saying. Remember the man who died laughing or died fighting for Labor Day, not just barbecue. At Zero, have a good night, brother. Be safe out there. Drive slow. Listen to the Beatles. Check your fluids, man. Chris Cadman saying, I have a 1938 Parlor guitar and Parlor. Chicken Fried Snake, Parlor. Chris Cadman saying, I have a 1938 Parlor guitar in 3/4 scale. It is sweet. I like those little ones. And then there's an acoustic arch top down in San Diego, but the guy wants some money for that. I don't have money to be throwing at guitars right now, so I just look through junk all the time. It's a bad habit, and I'm always sending Hubie stuff like, hey, check this out. I could totally waste my money on this. Check that out. And he's like, he's so kind. He's always saying, maybe you should wait until you have a place to work on these things before you buy more things. And then Bad 66 is saying, I want to make my 57 Plymouth running and driving, and it'll temporarily have a small block Chevy until, okay, think outside the box. It's a pretty thought out build. Hey, as long as it moves. Dakota's saying, make your own guitar. I wish, Dakota. Luthier work is insane, man. There's a lot of, it's that weird combination of mechanics and woodworking and everything else. And, small adjustments will get you different harmonics and everything else. And there's a fine balance of it all that's beyond me. Dakota saying, make it out of a raccoon carcass? That would be rad. But if I had a raccoon carcass, I'm making a hat, not a guitar. He'd be saying, Doug, the 56 Seagrave was driven by my grandfather, dad, and uncles. It would be 100,000 plus to restore. Ooh, that's not cheap. Then again, nowadays people drop that much, on stupid stuff. So I don't know. Brian's got a good point there. He's saying saving up money to buy some property land, also prep ammo. Yeah, Brian, that's never something I'm too worried about. I have a decent bit. And I reload. I'm actually a better reloader than I am mechanic, that's for sure. But I'm not a very good mechanic, so. Got a good point there. Olive saying I used to fix instruments and amps, and try to learn how to music. I'd fix a broken thing in exchange for another broken thing and trade sound. Yeah, Olive, I mean, you work on everything though. You're pretty dang clever. Some of that stuff's just beyond me. Bad 66 is saying GM always had the best suspension in the late 50s. I'd rather work on GM suspension versus Chrysler torsion bars, which is funny, Bad 66, because my truck has torsion bars. I think Chrysler sued them for it, so I think 62 was the last year, but it's got torsion bars. And I don't know why people are so opposed to them. I really like torsion bar suspension. All of a sudden, I'm bad at music, but fix the things. Hey, I'm bad at music too. Hey, Ed's Machine's in the chat. Howdy, Ed. How are you doing, brother? Doug's just saying, my winter hat is a beaver pelt, and it's just so wonderfully warm. Best $10 I ever spent at a garage sale. It was 110 new. New Guy's Guitar saying, I've been working on amps for a long time now. It's relaxing. That's rad, New Guys. I got my brother a really cool amp a few years ago. I got him it's a 79. It's a deluxe reverb, Fender deluxe reverb. And I think that might be one of the last years of them hand wiring the amps, if I'm not mistaken. I think I traded his beat up AC30 for it. And nowadays it's worth a lot more than the box. Ed's Machine's doing good. Glad to hear it, man. I'm sure the shop's in full tilt. You're doing cool stuff. I don't know if you've uploaded any videos. I think I caught up with them. Or had a good suspension in the late 50s, but a nightmare finding parts. Any boy saying I used to be pretty decent on a guitar. Well, he probably still could be, man. Just pick one up. Bad 66 is saying I'm not much on. Bad 66 is saying I'm not much on torsion bars or rear coil springs on a truck. No offense, not my cup of tea. When I hauled things too, though, that's my main reason. Yeah, I see you there. You guys are saying yes, that was the last year they hand wired. That amp sounds so good, man. So good. It's just night and day. I mean, he had a twin reverb reissue, and we'd play them next to each other, and there was almost no comparison. And the whole single speaker, the deluxe reverb was just overdrive was just perfect on it, man. And I enjoyed it. You know what I mean? I could mess around and overdrive it, and mess with the tremolo and reverb and get the kind of Link Ray sounds out of it. But what a cool thing! Yeah, the AC30 was definitely a more expensive amp at the time, but it was like my brother's dream amp, so I traded for it. You guys, Guitar saying tube is infinitely easier to work on. Yeah, yeah, all the analog stuff. I mean, it's sure it's the same thing with effects pedals. I've never worked on it, but it's probably a little bit more self-explanatory than the digital BS we all deal with. Here's Kevin saying, "You break things, I fix things, and this is why we are talking." Tavo Garage is saying, "I just bang sticks on tight skins." Nice, man. There's a couple drummers. John Marimba was coming through the lives for a little while. He was a drummer too. You guys are a whole different breed. Ed's Machine saying, "I thought I'd pop in and say hello." Well, thanks so much, Ed. I'm glad to hear from you, man. I'm sure everything's going well. It's always a good night when Ed's in here. We were yapping. We were talking about yurts and food and big block Chevys and Pontiacs for a little while. New Guys Garage is saying, or New Guys Garage, New Guys Guitar is saying most solid state amps have a computer, circuits and stuff that's really delicate. Yeah, and they're always getting tumbled too. I used to help load in and load out equipment at a concert hall I did security for. People abuse the hell out of that equipment, man. Yeah, people abuse the hell out of that equipment. That was what that twin reverb was missing, was some casters. That thing was heavy, man. Hernia heavy. I wonder what the super reverb's like. You're not moving that thing. Chris Cadman saying, when I argue about torsion bars, things get twisted. What the hell is this? Oh, that's for the thumbnail. I'm sitting here messing with stuff. Hubie's Garage is saying Oswald McGillicuddy is a great drummer. He did some Zepp on Facebook the other day, and it was epic. And the guy with the willies on the, oh yeah, I can't forget that ramp truck, man. I'm more focused on the ramp truck than the hot rod. That shows you how I think. The willies was beautiful too, though. You guys, guitarists saying speaker cabinets are easier than amps. I wire my speaker cabinets myself. What's that? There's that old PA system, new guys, that's actually got like the, it's got like a rotating thing in there. I forget what it's called. Bad 66. Yeah, it's got the bubble hood on there. You guys are saying I'm halfway through my line 6 amp head. Oh, you got the line 6? Oh, so you shred. There you go, man. Bad 66. They don't remake the hood, no. Danny Boyd saying a Leslie rotating speaker. Yes, yes. Now new guys, a Leslie, yes. Write it down so I don't forget it again. It was Nick 13. Well, I guess it was Tiger Army. It wasn't just him. He did some recordings with a Leslie, and they all sounded really, really dang cool. Nice to have something like that to holler through. Chris Cadman saying I like my 25-watt Fender Champ. The Champs are cool. I think if I had to choose one, I'd choose the Blues Junior, but I had a Pro Junior, but that was more for playing harmonica through than playing guitar through. That sucked. There's no reason. There's no reason for me to play music. I suck. Just not very good. Mom's asking how Ed is. Hubie's Garage is saying was watching Benny Hill and an amp blew up in a skit that was unexpected. He powered through it and was so quick-witted after the smoke cleared. He had the dancers laughing. Nice. New Guy's guitar is saying they were mainly organ speakers till Jimi Hendrix plugged into one when he did at Woodstock. Yeah, it was like I forget which Tiger Army album it was, but Nick 13 was playing through the Leslie, and he had like someone playing theremin and stuff. It was super weird, but it's cool. Yeah, it's super weird though. All of a sudden, I had a nice Ibanez bass with a built-in chorus that I would alternately fix or bypass a lot. The circuit board was brittle. Nice. The chorus, you get that good 80s sound. Ali DeBernia is in the chat. It's my brother saying you play some pretty cool Western guitar. Thanks, Allie. My brother is the talented guitarist. That's more his thing. I do just some stuff, but he's pretty damn good. Paint Namer saying, now I wish I bought the Blues Junior, but I got the Hot Rod Deluxe that's 40 watts of tube loudness. I don't know if I don't know if I played the Deluxe Paint Namer. If it's the one I'm thinking of, it might have been too gainy for me, but Dougster says, I don't know how many pianos Liberace owned, but I do know he had organs up the wazoo. Yeah. Yeah, just yeah, it's been a long time. I've been wanting to jam again, but I moved all my guitars up to my brother because I didn't touch them for like a year. And I'm like, okay, you know what I mean? Like these things are decorations at this point. I'll go bring them to my brother who will actually play them. And he does. He actually plays them. So I feel like that's a win. But now, I'm sitting here like, yeah, I kind of feel like playing guitar and I don't want to play like a toy guitar. I had some pretty nice stuff, but Chris Cadman saying Leslie sat in a local pawn shop for over a year, then it went away. I guess that's all the way in Canada. I couldn't have done anything about that, but that's still cool that they're around. Now we're getting to Bollywood again. I don't know. What if somebody like you got this whole wedding over here? What if somebody like released a leopard? I'm picturing all these people getting chased out of the hall by a leopard or a tiger. UB's Garage is saying, Ari, you could play that accordion. Too soon. Tabo Garage is saying, hey guys, time to make myself scarce. Got things to do, like pack parts to mail and film myself pulling a rusty old Valiant part. Tabo, thanks so much for stopping in, brother. Always glad to have you in the chat. If you guys haven't checked out Tabo Garage's channel, he's got a really nice Aussie Valiant and a Hemi 6, or sorry, a 6-cylinder with domed chambers and canted valves. But he's got a great channel. Check out Tabo, please. Tabo, please have a great week, man. Hope to talk to you soon, man. And check your fluids. Any boy saying, I want a Telecaster, I love that bridge pickup sound. Yes. Bad 66. Yeah, just like a leopard, you know what I mean? Just clear the place out real fast. All of a sudden, I got this Ovation guitar that I have almost finished repairing it from a broken head, but keeps being put aside. Those Ovations are nice. That's a total church guitar, though. I hear nonsense out here. Make sure no one's messing with my truck. I don't want to have to harvest any souls tonight, but if they're messing with the truck, I don't have a choice. No one's near my truck. I'm looking through. If you just so you guys get the view here. Oh man. All of saying I almost totally can't play anyway, Ari. I just keep trying sometimes because it's hard. Hey, Olive, I mean, messing around, that's all I ever did is just fuss with the guitar. Bad 66 is going to get 4 burritos. Combo burrito. Get me 4 burritos. Dickie Farley's in the chat saying, here recently got early to mid 90s Sam Woods guitar. Is mainly made of mahogany. Mahogany's nice. My I had a Martin, a D15 that was all mahogany, but it had that really light finish on it and everything, so it's super susceptible to temperature changes and stuff like that. So obviously it's a little worn out. I think the bridge it's got a crack near the bridge, but I could set it up again, get that guitar going nice. Chris Cadman saying, I have a 57 Strat. I will never sell it. I can see why. You know what's kind of cool, Chris, is if it's a 57, it was probably made in Santa Ana, which is like, where I lived for many years here, like right down the street. Leo Fender's first shop was in Santa Ana, but as the place got more popular, he moved over to Fullerton. Dickie Farley said, I meant to say it's acoustic. Yeah, it's probably got a great sound, Dickie. I always loved the way that mahogany guitar sound. It didn't project as much as some of the spruce tops and different stuff like that, but it was just a sweet sound, very personal. Olive saying, I did paint a Strat clone and leftover Chrysler blue engine paint, primer gray pickguard. Probably looked slick. Hubie's trying to say Billy Zoom has a guitar shop in Orange. Really, Hubie? I gotta go through there. I don't have money to buy nothing, but still just the same. It's Billy. Chris Cabin saying mahogany is illegal now, isn't it? I think that's rosewood, Chris. There's some kind of, it's like racist or something to buy rosewood. Bad 66 is saying, how come Ari doesn't have a 57 Bel Air? I don't know, man. That's a good question. I'd prefer a 55. I really would. 55 or a, if yeah. Yep. Rich 220's in the chat saying, going to be 90 today. No fun, man. All of saying, yeah, they're still with that Bollywood music. Chris Cabin said, never had the neck off, or only way to tell. Yeah, Chris, I mean, if it's that old, the odds are, because I mean, I think it was in the 60s that Leo moved to Fullerton, so it was made in Santa Ana, Orange County. You know, it's kind of funny to think about that. Like Buddy Holly's guitar was made here. That's funky. You'd be saying Matt 66. I'm working on him about that. He's been sending me some good. He's been sending me some really nice cars because I'm always sending him junk, and then he'll send me like he sent me a Nova wagon. It was a really nice car. I don't know if there was a title issue or what, but that was a nice car. If I had a couple extra bucks and a place to work on it, I'd buy it right now. Ali's saying, using rosewood appropriates the native tribes on the coasts of Venezuela. That's what the issue is, Chris. Bad 66 is saying a 55 had the airplane on the hood. Yes. I don't know. There's something about like the whole shape, the taillights and everything. It just... Olive say mahogany isn't illegal, but places it comes from are trying to protect the trees, and if they grind it in factories, they need breathing protection. And that an appropriation, Olive. Danny Boy saying, Jimmy's guitars and Ray Nichols. Yeah. Dickie Farley saying, I got a 2014 John Mayer Fender Strat that I've never played but a few minutes because I quit playing around the time I got it. I think it's the last year before he went to PR at Paul Reed Smith. That's a pretty rad one, Dickie. I would much prefer the Strat to the PRS guitars. I think those things are overrated, but I don't play like that. Hubie's Garage is saying 64 four-door Nova wagon complete with a title for $1,800. Anybody want a Dart? So I'm gonna sell the Dart and I'm gonna work the cat into the small print of the deal. So like whoever buys the Dart is gonna get the cat. Anyone saying Buck and Don's guitars. Chicken Fried Snake. Chris Cadman saying it ended up in Canada. Guitars love to travel. That's for sure. Dickie Farley saying, sometimes I wonder if I get back into playing if I should play my John Mayer Strat or try to sell it because it's almost 10 years old and the frets are the way they are from the factory with no wear. I mean, that would be up to you, Dickie, especially if there was something else you preferred playing. You could probably get a pretty penny for that Strat and then, feed your vice otherwise. You know what I mean? But yeah, definitely sell the Dart and then work the cat and the piano into the small print. So it's like, okay, you bought the Dart for me, but the contract says here, Article B, Section 7, that you have to take this 10-year-old cat and this 100-year-old piano. Hubie's Garage saying, bad 66, they're different. The 55 Bird has a tail, the 56 Wings are further back without a tail. I used to have this old Packard emblem that fit like perfectly flush on the hood of my Apache. And I was so tempted to put it on there. I knew it would have been cheesy and just gaudy and horrible, but it would have just been so classic. I forget which one it was. It was one of the really dramatic Packard hood emblems. I think it was like the like the Greek goddess or whatever they put on the hood. I should have done it. Should have done it. How did they go from the Bollywood to Black Eyed Peas? Really? Really? Oh yeah, Chris is saying a Dart's a smoke in Canada. Hubie's Garage is saying he needs some bullhorns for the Apache. Yeah, I really wouldn't mind is the sad part. I need to do some more work to that truck. After getting that deep into the engine and the driveline and everything else, I'm like, why haven't I touched anything on this truck? Dickie Farley's saying, I've got 3 Fender Strats, 2 Gibson Les Pauls. I was kind of thinking I might sell it if I can get enough money. If I can get enough money for it, even though it's only 10 years old. But 10 years is a long time with no break-in. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. It's got kind of got that vintage vibe to it. If you could get good money for it, why not? Especially if you got you got 2 more Strats and some Les Pauls to fall back on. It's not the biggest loss. Um, but is that like a shop custom kind of guitar? It's not like one of those because Fender's got like the one like a $5,000 guitar and then they got like a $25,000 guitar. Mac hood ornament. That Packard emblem. That car was huge. My buddy was gonna restore it. Never restored it. Ended up selling the project. I should have just snaked that hood. I should have done it. Should have. Well, guys, we're getting right here about a little past 2.5 hours. I'll probably call it a night if it's all right with you. Dickie's saying it's a John Mayer edition. It's around $4,000 new, I think. Basically Stevie Ray Vaughan's guitar with a little more bass to the pickups. Okay, so it's like it's got the different tension on it and the bigger strings and whatnot. That's pretty dang cool. But yeah, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and call it a night. I appreciate everybody coming through. It was a great conversation tonight. I'm sorry we talked about yurts for so long, and I'm sorry for the chicken fried snake. But it was definitely fun speaking with everybody. Truck's running well. We'll see what this week brings. And yeah, check your fluids, guys. Check, you know what I mean? Look what happened to Dakota. He didn't check his fluids. Couldn't. Not didn't. Couldn't. Couldn't. I'll text you on that one, Dave. But yeah, thanks so much, guys. Everybody be safe out there. I appreciate you, really. I'm gonna go ahead and call it a night. And I'm gonna go listen to some Bollywood, I guess, and go get some cheap Del Taco. And a happy Labor Day, everybody. You made a point there. Great, have a great holiday. Remember the folks who labored and toiled and fought just so people could be. I'm not even going to go there. Have a good one, guys. Thank you. Check your fluids.